Hello, my name is Isaac Sarpong. I'm an insurance practitioner and I work with Suno Assurances Ghana Limited. As part of our financial literacy month, I'll be talking on property and liability insurance. Globally, insurance traces its modern history back to the marine insurance and life insurance in the late Middle Ages. With an increase in maritime trading, merchants and bankers became concerned about the safety of shipments due to piracy, storms, and other perils. The bankers provided guarantees against loss. In return, merchants paid the bankers a fee for this protection. This was the beginning of insurance. It wasn't until the era of the Great Fire of London, which devoured more than 13,000 homes, rendering about 70,000 out of about 80,000 people homeless, and then killing about 6 people. Then the concept of property and liability insurance arose. Today, a number of things have developed and we have insurance companies all over the world, and Ghana is no exception. We have several insurance companies both in the life and in the non-life insurance business. Now, what is property insurance? We will say it's a first-party coverage in insurance. What does first-party mean? It means that the person who insures is the person who benefits. So property insurance will cover buildings owned by the policyholder, and when there's a loss, the policyholder is indemnified. Don't worry, I'm not going to bore you with so many terms. I just take indemnity as one of the principles in insurance, and we'll talk about this later on. The other thing is that we could also have home insurance, or others would say homeowners insurance or householders insurance. They're all basically about the same thing, insuring your home. Then we talk about liability insurance. This time round, we are not paying money to you, the policyholder, but we are paying on your behalf to people that you may have incurred legal liability to pay monies to. So for example, I own a vehicle, I'm involved in an accident, I damage your vehicle. Liability insurance is basically saying that we will pay on your behalf to the person whose property has been damaged. Or let's say you're involved in an accident and then you cause injury to someone. Liability insurance says, whatever the person is asking you to pay, we will come and pay on your behalf. So then what is the difference between property and liability insurance? You see, while property insurance protects you against loss or damage to your properties, and other personal belongings, liability insurance covers any legal and financial liability you may incur towards third parties. Property insurance can be availed by anyone who wishes to secure his or her personal property. And like I said, your personal property or your business property can range from buildings to houses to whatever you can think of when you think of property. And your liabilities could be varied. Now, the question we ask ourselves is, who needs property and liability insurance? Think about it. I think that you need one. You may not think that it's important, or you may probably be thinking that only the ones that are required by the laws of the land are important. But you need property insurance. So small and medium scale enterprises need property insurance. They need liability insurance. Large corporations, organizations, you need one. Individuals need it. Those who run public spaces, they need it. And sometimes the law makes it a requirement for some of these policies to be taken. For example, there's a law that more or less makes motor insurance compulsory, and so you don't have it, the police would always be worrying you. And there's also the law that says that every commercial building must be insured. And so yes, the law is making it compulsory for you to insure your commercial building. But think about it. People who also import into a particular country, if the laws of the land says insure that property you are importing into the country, then yes, you need it. So all these people, you and I, we all need one insurance or the other. Don't say it doesn't apply to you. But note this, risk expectations and policy type will differ by the insurable interest. In fact, you need it, but we would have to tweak every policy to suit what you are bringing on board. So terms and conditions will apply, differences would apply, but yes, you need it. You and I need a property and liability insurance. But then, although we know we need it, we ask ourselves, what are the types of property and liability insurance? So we could have the ones for individuals and the ones for businesses. Okay. Now we often say that the commercial lines would include both what? Corporate, government, businesses, and individuals be like you and I. For individuals or personal lines, we're basically saying these are policies that can be taken by an individual. For example, you and I can take a motor policy. What others would say auto insurance, depending on which part of the world you are listening to me or watching me from. Home insurance, travel insurance. These are personal lines policies. And quite often when you hear of aggregator sites, places where people can buy insurance on the website and everything, or companies, you often find some of these policies being readily available. These are individuals, or what we call personal lines. Then we have the business lines or the commercial lines. These are the policies that are being taken by corporate institutions like companies, corporations, bigger institutions. And they may have some resemblance with the personal lines, but hey, there are some other policies that go beyond just the personal lines. So corporate lines or business lines, we are looking at motor insurance. There are some policies people will say business combining what? Fire and burglary. Assets or risks. In other market, people say industrial or risks. Public liability. Okay, commercial fire insurance. But you see, like I mentioned, the property insurance is covering the property that you are interested in. The liability insurance is covering your legal liability. And so when you see business lines in terms of policy that we could be taking, and I mentioned public liability, that is a liability policy, but then that is also taken by the business. We also have workmen's compensation, and part of it is a corporate line or a business line. Companies who employ people take up this particular policy, and it's supposed to do what? Pay compensations on your behalf, compensations that the law would say that you have to pay. Okay, so the Workmen's Compensation Act basically says that every employer is responsible for their employee. And so if an employee gets injured in the course of their employment, in the pursuance of their duty, then you will have to pay compensation to them. Now, why don't you transfer this risk to an insurance company by buying the Workmen's Compensation Insurance policy? We talk about marine insurance. You ship goods, you import, you export goods, and think about it, anything can happen because you're not the law or the god of the seas. Things can capsize, things can be thrown overboard from the vessel, things can sink. People say even the Titanic sank. So anything can happen at sea. Why would you want to insure your consignment at sea? Businesses can do it, individuals can also do it. Personal accidents is another kind of policy that sometimes we take. Now, we take it for quite often for a group of people. We call it a group personal accident. But nothing stops you from taking a personal accident policy for yourself. For injuries you may suffer, accidents you may suffer on the roads or even at home. And then we have some policies also called contractors or risks. You're a construction company and you're listening to me, and you're probably hoping that nothing would happen. Remember, accidents do come like a thief in the night. Nothing can be assured if you don't protect yourself. So prevent yourself from becoming a social burden tomorrow. You can insure your risks at the construction site by taking the contractors or risk policy. The truth of the matter is that we can't talk about all the policies, but it's just to say that these policies exist. Now, why property and liability insurance? The law may require of you to do it. For example, Motor Vehicles Third Party Insurance Act. We are supposed to do it. Now, talk about a law that says that commercial properties need to be insured. It's law. The Insurance Act 2021, Act 1061, says that all imports into Ghana, with the exception of personal effects, need to be insured in Ghana. So there may be a legal requirement on us to do it. So yes, you can't run away from it. Then sometimes you go to borrow money from people and then they want to protect their interests. So yes, they'll require of you. Sometimes no one is chasing you. You don't owe anybody anything. But to prevent yourself from becoming a social burden, to give you peace of mind, you need to what? Take up a property insurance policy or a liability insurance policy. How to get started? Where do we start from? First and foremost, identify the exact type of policy you need, and you find a reputable, trusted insurer or insurance broker or insurance agent to work with. Then visit any of them, speak with them, get the information that you need. People go shopping around, shop around, make sure that you understand what you want to sell. Then provide the required documentation that is needed. One of the things that is difficult in this country is documentation, information. Get it for the insurance company. And then once you're done, they'll give you your terms and conditions. If you're okay with them, you accept the policy. But this is it. Go to your insurance company telling them what you want to transfer to them. Telling them why you want to insure. Now, after answering all the questions that they have for you, they will tell you which policy will best fit the risks that you are bringing on board. And once they give you the policy, they probably will follow up with a premium quotation with terms and conditions. If you are okay with it, then yes, we have a policy in agreement. Documentation should be issued, and you will have a policy as proof that yes, someone has carried your burden. The burden is that losses may occur, and they will not give you notice that anything can occur, and so you've got to insure. In conclusion, I'd say that the essence of property and liability insurance cannot be overemphasized, as it safeguards us, yes, I mean you and I, our families, our businesses, and even third parties from unwanted loss. Insurance pays for your insured losses. It doesn't pay for uninsured losses. Insurance pays for genuine claim. And when it does that, it does not make you a social burden. I trust you find this useful, and I say let's get insured today. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kwakwa Sarpong, for the insightful presentation. I might say that they are very revealing to our audience. Please, we have some few questions we would like you to address it for us. Please, when somebody wants to do a property insurance, what are the major things the person have to look out for so that in the event of a claim, the person can benefit maximum from the property insurance policy?
So when you want to take up a property insurance, the things you need to look out for is first and foremost, identify for yourself the property you want to insure. You see, quite often people will say that I want to insure my home, and then they go ahead to insure just the building without insuring the contents. You've misfired. If there's a loss to your contents, the insurance company will not pay. So identify the property that you want to insure. Secondly, identify the kind of losses you want the insurance policy to pay for. If you've had prior experience, either personally or from a friend, you need to kind of bring that to the discussion. Okay, for example, I want my insurance policy to pay for burglary. Okay, I want my insurance policy to pay for flooding. Okay, I want my insurance policy to pay for damage caused by a windstorm. Yes, you bring all these issues to the table, and then you make sure that the property you want to insure against the losses have been clarified. The third thing is that your insurance company will give you terms and conditions. Make time to read it. If you feel like it's too bulky to read it, give it to your insurance company or insurance advisor to break it down for you. Speak to a broker, and the broker can also break it down for you, or speak to an insurance agent. Once you're able to do this three, it is just like knowing for yourself that this is the car I want to buy, knowing what the car can do, and buying the car that meets your specification. In this case, you are buying a policy that meets your specification. But I reckon that sometimes it's quite difficult to understand the English language used in the insurance policy documents. At this stage, call a broker, or call an agent, or speak to your insurance advisor. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the answer. Please, we also want to find out from you, for the general public, what will be the way for them to know the credible insurance companies that are in Ghana before they go and insure with them?
So it's a very interesting question to know the credible insurance company. I always say that a credible insurance company must be licensed by the National Insurance Commission. The National Insurance Commission in Ghana will license a credible insurance company. If you want to know whether that credible insurance company license is in good standing, you can still check on the National Insurance Commission. They are the best institution to tell you that this company is credible. You can also check the financials of the insurance company in question, read about them, read their profile, read about them, check their financials over the period. But I always tell you that if they are not in good standing with the National Insurance Commission, then they are not a credible insurance company. So any insurance company licensed and approved by the National Insurance Commission to do business in Ghana is a credible insurance company.
My last question for you to clarify for us is, I think when you started the presentation, you said you work with Sunu Assurances. And I believe there are some kind of policies that the company sells. So I would like you to use the opportunity to let us know what are the things that you do at Sunu, so that if any member of our team or our listeners out there needs insurance, they can come in and then work with you.
So at Sunu Assurances, well, you brought Sunu in, so let's say I work as the Chief Operations Officer for Sunu Assurances Ghana Limited. And what we do as a company is we sell general insurance products, or what others will call the non-life insurance products. So ranging from motor to fire to marine insurance to all the liability insurances you can think of. Okay, this is what we do. Fire, you can talk about the combined fire, the fire only, the fire and allied perils, the assets or risks. These policies are done by Sunu Assurances. Travel insurance, personal accident, workmen's compensation, bonds are all done by Sunu Assurances. And then you can also extend it to all the accident policies, the goods in transit, the money insurance, and the list goes on and on. So all the non-life insurance products, or what we call the general insurance products, are being offered at Sunu Assurances Ghana Limited. So in conclusion, I'd say that, look, you can't say that it doesn't concern me. It's important that you really understand everything that we are talking about when it comes to financial literacy. You've got to be financially literate about the products that are being offered. You need to know what you are buying. You need to understand that these products have a value. And I'm not just here to just convince you to buy insurance products from my company or from any other company, but to say that it's important that we do understand the financial products that we purchase and make sure that we ask the right questions and demand the best of service. But insurance, like one of the financial products that we have on the market, is real. And insurance does pay. Thank you.